I'm Dr. Charles Michael Austin, or as my clients call me, Dr. Chaz. My specialty is career packaging and marketing. Our theme is awareness, and this talk is about waking up to the gig economy. The gig economy is a labor market that's based on short-term contracts, projects, and freelance work, as opposed to permanent jobs. I train people how to market themselves for the gig economy. I'll be introducing you to some concepts that are radical and at the same time highly practical that will help you to navigate this new working world of the 21st century. We go to school and learn the skills we need in order to become physicians or social workers or auto mechanics, but we're not taught the business side. Think of your education as a tool you can use to contribute your talents and experience to others. I show people how they can monetize their education. I empower them to make their dreams come true. Today, corporate loyalty is largely a thing of the past. Corporations don't really care about their workers. They don't offer full-time work or benefits like they used to. They're happy to replace loyal, hard workers by outsourcing the work to people from other countries who will do the same job at a fraction of the cost. And as we know, they're using robots more and more to replace people altogether because it's cheaper. And the lower the labor costs, the bigger the bonuses for the company's C-level executives and the higher the stock price for their investors. This is the new reality, like it or not. So, as a working person faced with this, what do? The answer is you redefine yourself as what you now are, a freelancer. Essentially your own business and your own brand, like Coca-Cola or Apple or Tesla. I train my clients and students how to define, articulate, and sell their personal brands. What is it you do? What makes you unique in the marketplace? And who will pay for the services you offer? And you can use the self-marketing skills you learned from me in every career you may have in the future, for as long as you choose to work. What this means is that you're no longer dependent on pleasing that one employer who doesn't really value your contributions. You're now your own business with your own clients. So, if you're now a business, in order to stay in business and keep growing, you're going to need to market yourself constantly. So people could better understand all this, I created it in graphic form and named it the multiple income streams approach. My students call it the wheel, and tell me that for them it's the game changer, a whole new way to see the reality of today's labor market and their place in it. Picture, if you will, a wagon wheel. The hub is your brand. The spokes represent the various ways you can earn money by marketing your skill set, talents, experience, and accomplishments to the people who need them and would be willing to pay for them. The challenge is, how many different ways can you find to generate revenue? And then, what new skills and degrees and certificates and licenses can you earn that will enlarge that revenue stream? No viable business survives for long with a single client. So given we've said you're now a business, the wheel is your blueprint for how you can create a steady stream of income for yourself from multiple sources. And part of running this new business of yours is always searching for new ways to find more clients and always adding more value to what it is you can offer them. The next step in building your business and brand is the SWOT analysis, SWOT. It stands for strengths, what's missing, opportunities, and threats. Businesses have been using the SWOT analysis for decades. So given you're now a business, the SWOT analysis is a wonderful tool to help you establish that business. It has 4 quadrants. The 2 quadrants on top relate to you. Top left is your strengths. What specific skills and talents and experience do you offer that someone will pay for? This includes things like languages you speak, software programs you're proficient with, how much revenue you've generated or saved for past employers or clients. In other words, if I'm looking to pay for your services, my focus is on what you've accomplished for other people that you could do for me. In your SWOT analysis, because you're filling in the blanks either on paper or on a computer screen, there's very little drama. You're just creating an accurate inventory. And as you work on it, your list expands because you start to remember things you can do but hadn't thought of before. Now you're starting to think like a business owner. What have you accomplished in your life that people will need and that you can deliver for them? It's about taking care of your customers. For many of my clients, doing a SWOT analysis is a revelation. Filling in the strengths or assets portion of the SWOT boosts their confidence. They realize what they have to offer and that they can make money doing it. For example, I had a student in one of my courses a few years ago. I introduced the course on the first day, and then he challenged me. He said, "I hear what you're saying and how you've helped people. Let's see if you can help me." I was a Marine for 5 years, and then I was in prison for 35 years for murder. We started working together. I learned that while he was in prison, the facility kept adding buildings. He was assigned to help with the expansion and learn something called AutoCAD, which is a design and drafting software program. Over time, he became an expert at it. So we determined that what he was selling, his brand, was expertise in AutoCAD and being a Marine. And once a Marine, always a Marine. So I suggested he connect with his Marine brothers all over the world, some of whom own architectural or engineering firms and would need an AutoCAD specialist. He needed to realize, as do you, that what your potential clients pretty much only really care about is what they need and whether you can provide it. When we were done, this Marine said that I had opened something up for him that he'd never seen before. Now let's look at the top right quadrant. This has traditionally been called weaknesses, but I've renamed it what's missing. Here you get to see what you need to do or get so you can make your business more marketable. Here's an obvious example. I had a client who had many years' experience working in hospitals. Her goal was to become a registered nurse. What was missing was the degree. And from the perspective of the SWOT, she needed to turn something missing into a strength. Earning the degree will open doors that were closed to her before. No hospital is going to hire you as an RN without a degree. So she's going to get that degree so she can follow her dream. Actually, writing all of this down makes it real for people. You learn what it is you need to do, and you can begin the process of making that happen. In this woman's case, this will involve reaching out to nurses she knows to find out which nursing schools they recommend, contacting those schools to learn how long their program takes, what it costs, and then figuring out how she's going to pay for it. When working with my clients, I always start at the end. What's your goal? Like any journey, once you know where you're going, you can plan all the things you need to do along the way so you can get there. And universally, I've found if you want something badly enough, you will do whatever it takes. It's human nature. Speaking of doing whatever it takes and creating a brand, I'm an example of that. While my brand is Dr. Chaz, I began my life as the son of immigrants. My parents were forced to leave Europe to escape Hitler. I'm first-generation American and the first in my family to graduate college. I was named after my grandfathers who were Orthodox Jews. My Hebrew name is Chaim Menachem ben Moshe Halevi. My parents settled in New York and anglicized the name to Charles Melvin Ausenberg. If you're watching this and grew up in the 1950s on the Upper West Side of Manhattan and ever wondered what happened to Melvin, here I am. Then, because I thought it would help if I had a name that was easier to spell and pronounce, I rebranded to Charles Michael Austin, which after I earned my doctorate, morphed into Dr. Chaz. I said earlier that when I work with people, we always start at the end. What's your goal? And my goal is to find a university willing to do a pilot study of my program, which involves training college students on the business side in how to market themselves and monetize their education. It consists of a mandatory series of courses beginning freshman year that's embedded into a traditional college curriculum. And I will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to find that university. And I know from past experience that my program works. And then my long-term goal is to have it adopted by every college and university in the United States. Now we turn to the bottom two quadrants of the SWOT analysis. These have to do with market conditions. Before you spend any of your time or money, you need to know if there's an end game. In the case of my client who will someday be a nurse, she needs to research whether nursing is a growing field. For what type of nursing is there a great demand? In which parts of the country? What can she expect to earn? So the bottom two quadrants deal with opportunities and threats in the marketplace for what you want to do. Like any good business owner, you do your homework before you make your move, whether it's buying or renting equipment for your home office to whether you want to invest your money and time to earn an advanced degree. It may be disappointing to learn that current market conditions are such that this is not the right time to move forward. So you'll need to reevaluate. Be flexible, maybe shift gears and go in a different direction. But as a responsible business owner, you want to know the facts and the forecast in your industry before you spend your time and money. Finally, let me explain the process of having people learn to brand themselves. The first part is having them accept and eventually embrace that A, you are in fact a brand, and B, you'll always need to sell that brand. There's a lot of resistance to doing this. Most of us just want to do what we were educated to do. I just want to do my job. I shouldn't have to sell. I hear this over and over again. Well, in the gig economy, you do have to constantly sell your services. As Denzel said, do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do. Defining your brand means determining what specifically you are selling. Here's an example. A client of mine found a job. Yes, though things are changing rapidly, there are still some jobs out there. But whether you're looking for a job or for clients, the same principles apply. This client had had two different and successful careers. The first one doing promotion in the music industry. And in the second one, he served as an admissions counselor in higher education. When we began working together, he had just lost the job as a college admissions counselor, one that he'd held for 16 years. He generated over $50 million in revenue for his college during that time and suddenly found himself unemployed. He was justifiably proud of what he'd accomplished in the decades he'd spent in his first career in the music industry. And they took up a full page of his resume, and I told him to delete it all. And no surprise, he didn't want to. This is why my work is a training. It takes time for people to develop what I call a marketing sensibility, to become compassionate about the needs of the people who might hire you. When you market too many of the things you've done in your life simultaneously, it can confuse potential clients. I call this muddling the brand. I finally convinced my client that people in higher education would not care about what he'd done in another industry, that it might even confuse them. What he needed for their sake was to focus on and sell what he'd done in higher ed, because that's what they were buying. So we removed everything in the resume that didn't specifically apply to higher education, and it worked. He got a better job as an admissions counselor at a more prestigious university. You too can learn to self-market. This is a tool you will need to survive and hopefully thrive in the gig economy of the 21st century. Step 2, articulating your brand. Your brand message needs to be consistent across whatever platforms you're going to be using to get the word out to your potential audience. This includes your soundbite or elevator pitch. This is a 20 to 30 second teaser and the marketing tool you'll use most often. At networking events, parties, really anywhere you might meet someone who asks, "What do you do?" And be open to the serendipity. While you'll always be focusing on your target markets, the people who will most likely need what you have to offer, you may meet someone in a coffee shop who, after you tell them what you do, might say, "That's interesting. I was just talking to a friend the other day, and they mentioned that they were looking for exactly that. Do you have a business card?" Articulating your brand extends to business cards, your bio, the headline on your social media pages, and the objective on your resume, in case people ask you for one. and it has the added benefit of pointing you to your target audience. My soundbite is training people to self-market for the gig economy. So my target market is anyone who would need my services. This includes people who are unemployed, high school and college students, and recent graduates who are looking for work, career counselors, high school guidance counselors, people who work in human resources, people who work in higher education. If you always focus on your target audience, you'll never go wrong. Pay attention to their needs. What can you do to help them achieve their goals? And how do you improve and broaden what you offer so you can better serve them? The final part of the process is selling your brand. Where do the people in your target markets live, both online and offline? What conventions and conferences do they attend? What groups do they belong to? What publications and blogs and vlogs and podcasts do they follow? People hire the people they know and trust. Your self-marketing involves finding these people and then developing and building relationships with them. Hang out, make friends, find work. Congratulations! You now have your own business and your own brand, and that means doing the work that you do and always marketing it. Incidentally, I'm not concerned with whether you're going to enjoy marketing yourself. You probably won't. But it's a new skill you will need to develop, one they never taught us in school. It does take some time to get there, but eventually, self-marketing will become a new habit, one that will bring you rewards for the rest of your life. Thank you.